Oh, might not be 3D, but I tell you what, a 3D 8K HD TV like that would be phenomenal.
That's in your Christmas stocking. I've got it for you.
Stephen,
I've got it for you, yeah.
Can you just rewind and say that again?
Oh, 3D 8K HD.
I'm getting excited here.
So 16 times better than current high definition, and in 3D, if they could do that, would be phenomenal with active shutter glasses.
Watch ourselves on that, couldn't we?
You'd feel like you could really walk into the screen with that. Oh.
He's gone.
Love it. Technology is fabulous. We've got the papers for you right now with Martin and with Kate. And Kate, we'll start with you, should we? The Sunday Express looking at the political season, because, of course, it's all getting back underway this week. Thank heavens for that. It gives us something to talk about.
No more silly season, no more lion hunts. We're back to politics. Parliament's back this week, and the reshuffle could be this week, as early as this week. And there's lots of articles in all the papers about the reshuffle. This is one of my favourites in the Express, the Sunday Express, saying more than half of voters want George Osborne removed as Chancellor, but not many of us know who to replace him with. So that's the big question. We want him to go, but there's not really many plan Bs. And I think that's a problem that the Conservative Party have. They don't see many credible contenders for replacement.
Is it realistic, though, in the sense that obviously the economic situation is very, very difficult for the majority of people in this country at the moment? Is it the Chancellor's fault, or would it be the same whoever was in that job?
Well, that's a Conservative argument, that they're borrowing less, that it's the mess that Labour put them in that's got it. But I think that a lot of people don't think that George Osborne's austerity measures have helped at all, that these have actually made more problems, it's caused more chaos. And I think he's lost a lot of popularity and a lot of credibility. And, of course, he's going to stay. I mean, there's no suggestion he's going to move. Yeah. It looks like, you know, we're looking at the suggestions for the reshuffle, and it doesn't look like George Osborne's going to move. But I think, really, he's got to kind of work on his popularity somehow, because at the moment he's really not helping the coalition at all.
It's going to be interesting to see when that reshuffle happens, who's in, who's out, especially junior ministers as well, because that will be interesting how that affects backbench opinion of it all.
And Ken Clarke is not moving. That's the big thing. I mean, I look forward to Cameron trying to get him to move.
Yeah, force him out in those hush puppies.
Big push.
Dynamite.
To the Mail on Sunday. Oh, Kate, this is yours as well, is it?
Yes.
About junior drugs not being tested on children.
Well, this is a really terrible story. This is really saying that until 2007, drugs for children, given in hospitals, given at homes, everything, were not tested on children themselves. 95% of all hospital medicines for babies were not tested on children. Essentially, these drugs were tested on adults, shown they were correct and fine for adults, and then it was thought it was fine to put them on children, and it simply is because it was too expensive to do trials on children. And this is a very, you know, you think of thalidomide. I mean, you've been covering that brilliantly on Sky, the thalidomide disaster, because I presume they couldn't test on 3-month pregnant women. This is the same thing. I mean, it's very concerning.
As a parent of a 3-year-old toddler, this is horrific. I mean, you know, you just assume, don't you, this has been tested safely.
But the point with this, I guess, some may ask, is would you want your 3-year-old, Martin, to be part of a drug trial?
It depends how much you was paid, I guess. But
I think that is why it's expensive. That is why it's expensive. And the usual practice is that doctors wait. A new drug comes in, it's given to adults, we adults stay alive through it, you know, no big side effects, and then it's given to children.
It is compulsory now, from 2007, it is they have to be tested on children, but anything before that, which is still on the market, weren't tested.
And, you know, the rise, I mean, we're following America and everything, and the rise in medicating children for all kinds of things. It's not just short-term illnesses here, it's long-term illnesses, it's ADHD, it's mental illnesses.
Depression.
I mean, there are children aged 3 being medicated for depression, so these are very concerning stories.
Which is very worrying in itself, isn't it? We'll leave it there for the time being. Martin's going to have a pop in just a moment. Some of the stories we're talking about, find out why the British wool industry is making a comeback, and the world's oldest siblings say it's all down to minestrone. So looking through the papers then with Kate and with Martin. Martin, to the front of the Sunday... Oh, it's not the front of the Sunday Telegraph, it's the news review segment. But this lady who is, in effect, allowing her son's death, or the moments prior to his death, to be shown on television. Yeah,
this is a remarkable story. It's about a lady called Margaret Everson, whose son, Lieutenant Mark Everson, was tragically killed in Afghanistan while on active duty. And she's allowing his death to be screened. So he was shot through an artery in his neck and later went into a coma and passed away. She's a clinical psychologist by profession, incredibly eloquent and sort of, you know, wonderful lady. And she's agreed for this to be shown to highlight the plight of the squaddies and to show war as a real and more humane thing. And the really moving part of it is that he'd been complaining about a lack of equipment to his regiment. And he did a diary entry where he read, "I have a lack of radios, water, food and medical equipment. Injuries will be sustained which I will not be able to treat, and deaths could occur which could have been stopped." And it ended up being his own death. And so she's taken the quite extraordinary step to allow his final moments to be screened. And it's on BBC Three tomorrow night.
But what are the benefits of it? I mean, she's clearly thinking there's going to be some benefit to society. I mean, is there a sense it perhaps in some ways going to be cathartic for her rather than to anyone watching? What
she said, as a psychologist, I guess it helps her to sort of process in a way that's more logical than a lot of us have the ability to do. But she said that it shouldn't be swept under the carpet. But she also hopes to highlight the plight of a lack of munitions and proper supplies.
Is it really going to help, though, the families of other people that are serving in Afghanistan, who obviously fearful for them every single day? I can't see how it's going to really comfort them.
And sometimes these things, you know, they are beyond people's control. I mean, the logistics just don't get there, and things just don't get there.
It was very much her choice to do this. I mean, you know, she was sent the footage and she watched it in her kitchen. She describes how she watched it, and then she came up with the idea of making this programme. And you know, I think it's an incredibly brave piece of filmmaking, and from her point of view, on an individual level, very brave. And anything that highlights the great work our soldiers do, I think should be commended. And it's not going to be comfortable viewing. But then again, I think there's there's a very worthy cause behind this, and I think one that's valid.
You can appreciate what she's trying to do, no doubt about it. You wonder if showing an actual death will in itself desensitise people. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's right or wrong.
It is a big moment, I think. It is a big moment.
It is a big moment.
It is, and it is rather
terrifying. There have been lots of kind of assisted suicide moments on TV, which you know, is a very different thing, but that's considered fair game, so why isn't this? It's an uncomfortable truth that it highlights.
It's violence, though, isn't it? Assisted suicide isn't as violent as this.
No, but this is the reality of war. This isn't a video game or a Hollywood movie. This is reality. And I think she should be applauded for highlighting that.
Well, it's, as you say, a brave move, whatever you think, whether it's the right or wrong thing to do. It's hugely difficult.
Yeah.
Hugely difficult. Kate, to The Independent on Sunday.
The airport.
All the fuss over a third runway at Heathrow. How about 4 runways somewhere else?
Let's have more. I mean, you know, this is the time of year which we all come back from our holidays. Everyone's finding, you know, big lines at Heathrow, and it's all crammed. And of course, it's interesting to me how the coverage of this, the airport, the London airport question, has changed. I mean, increasingly they were like, is it an idea or not? And now increasingly it said there's an aviation crisis, and we have to have something. Even on the left, in the Guardian, throughout the news, it's increasingly a minority issue. People who are against an expansion of airport capacity. This here is suggesting that there's no point having just another runway. I mean, that's just pointless. It's not going to cope with our capacity, which apparently is rising so high that we're simply going to be behind. You know, apparently every day 191,000 people pass through Heathrow already, and it's just not enough. We in the future we're going to have more people, so we're going to have another big, massive airport, a 60 billion scheme, which could actually see the end of Heathrow. That Heathrow seems to us so fantastic, so glamorous, and it's actually going to be a humble cottage next to this new plan.
I can see people, you know, drawing up the petitions as we speak.
Well, I mean, I feel it's a great problem for the environment. I feel it's a great problem for green. I think
it's great for business.
Emissions.
That's the issue.
This is the problem. I think increasingly it's less the green argument is being drowned because it's seen as a kickstart for the economy.
To the Mail on Sunday, Martin. Astonishing athletes.
Yeah, well, this is actually highlighting Claire Balding, who's been the Paralympic sort of host, of course.
Oh, I see. Oh, it's the picture in the centre. Although at least we've not cropped that out, thank you. That was a bit of a gamble. We could have lost that. Claire Balding, I always thought she was on contract to the BBC, so I was surprised to see her on Channel 4, but what a fantastic host.
What's happened, I think, is that she was kind of Lineker's wingman during the Olympics, and I think in many ways was the true star performer. And the article by Suzanne Moore in the Mail on Sunday here is highlighting the fact that she doesn't look like a supermodel. She's not a size 8. I mean, you can be attractive and talented, like you two guys. But they're saying here that she's not a kind of picture book presenter.
Yes, I agree. I'm surprised by this because I think Claire Balding's great. She's fun. I mean, I was gripped by her in the Olympics. I mean, that amazing interview she did with Chadwick Lowe, the father. So funny. But I find it surprising when people say she's not attractive because I think she's very attractive. And the suggestion that she's not, I think, is a bit strange. Really.
She's a complete natural, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Her presentation style is so effortless, and she has got a warmth and
she was
charisma
loving
about
it.
her.
She was so loving it.
She's so kind of infectiously effervescent and up for it. I think that's what I like about her.
I just think it's quite interesting. The Mail on Sunday, of all papers, has done an article in effect saying this lady is a lesbian, but we still like her.
And she's a little bit
you know,
ugly,
which
but
is
it's okay.
you know,
Ridiculous.
which might be a breakthrough for the readership of the Mail on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, as I say, she's just good at what she does, and that's the end
Yes,
of
because
the
I've worked with
story,
her and
isn't
she's
it?
professional, she's
She's
fantastic.
awesome.
And of course her book's being serialised in the Mail at the moment.
There you go. We love her. We love her. Now, we're running out of time. Oh, I want to talk about The Observer then. These elderly siblings.
Yes.
Martin.
Yeah, this is a family of 9.
9?
Yeah, it's
Busy
Sardinia down in Italy. With a combined age of 818, and so of course scientists are sort of probing them as to what's the secret of what's the elixir of their youth.
Are they all alive then?
Yeah, they're all still going strong. I mean, some of them are just about alive. One of them's 105, but
Still going.
But they basically said, so what's the secret? Because of course there's massive commercial viability in finding out how all of us want to stay younger, stay looking younger, and it's nothing fancy, no gimmicks. She makes minestrone soup with vegetables from her garden, and she washes it down with a glass of goat's milk. So there we go.
My friend's Sardinian, and she's one of 8, but I don't think she could cope if all her family lived to that combined age.
I mean,
if you want to live to a very long age, the place in the world where people live the longest, though, is in Spain.
Oh.
It's on the Costa Blanca, a little village called Jesus Pobre.
Oh, really?
And that's where they all live to a very old age.
Oh,
Showboating.
fantastic. Because they often do very well in Italy because it's said to be red wine and olive oil, and obviously that's goat's milk. So anyone watching now who's drinking goat's milk, you know, they're going to be living till 120.
Growing your
you
own
go.
vegetables, it seems, is yet again something we should all be doing.
Get out in the allotment
know.
and you could be 105, should you want to be or not.
Die in the
Kate,
shed.
Martin, good to see you both.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much for this
Cheers.
morning.
Thank you.
Let's get a check on the weather prospects for you right now.